do think, I mean, I hope I'm wrong, right? But what I'm going to be preaching all offseason is that, like, do not set your targets on a top 15 defense again, because it's probably not going to happen this year.
I do think we'll improve.
We probably will.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you think about it, like, we lost our two best players and we didn't replace them with guys of equal talent. So we had the 51st defense. We lost two first round picks on
51st.
Yeah,
Oh.
and remember, dude, that's what I was preaching all last offseason. I was saying that this was going to be Manny's worst defense because of talent. And I don't know, man. Like, I get that Manny's play calling will probably bump us up a few spots. Position coaches might bump us up a few spots. However, across the board, it's the same guys coming back minus our two best players. So there's going to be some development, but a lot of the personnel issues that we had last year will carry on into next season.
No, I mean, absolutely. I think on defense, I'm very excited to see Tyreek Stevenson. I think him working with DVD and T-Rob, I think he's going to, turn out to be a really nice cornerback.
Yep.
I'm excited to see what Corey Couch does. If he can take that next step. Who I'm really excited to watch is Sam Brooks.
Yeah.
I think he's going to turn into like by far our best linebacker. It's not saying much, but I think Nesta's going to do really well with Jeff Simpson. But everyone's talking about like Jafari Harvey. Like, he's like, I know he's a physical freak and he could be very good like in the future, but I don't see him taking like a Jalen Phillips or a Greg Rousseau leap. And I think a lot of people are kind of just expecting that because we've had good defensive ends the last 3 years. I don't know, man. Like,
I hear people, use the example of, well, we were fine after Rousseau left, so we'll be fine now that Phillips and Roche leave. That's a total false equivalency. It's not nearly the same. It's not nearly the same situation. Because, okay, so Roche leaves, right? He's a first-round talent, okay? You're replacing him with the returning leader in sacks in all of college football in Quincy Roche. He comes into the program, okay? And off the bench, you have one of the most supremely talented physical specimens in recruiting in the last 5 years with Jalen Phillips, the number 1 overall recruit, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And I like Jafari Harvey. I like the potential of Zach McLeod at defensive end. Okay, I like DeAndre. Well, I haven't watched a lot of DeAndre Johnson, but people tell me good things, right? And I like Cam Williams. I really like Cam Williams from what we saw last year. However, none of those guys are Quincy Roche or Jalen Phillips. Could they become that level? Sure. They're all pretty young, right? Harvey has a few years. Williams has a few years. Quentin Williams has a few years. We have a lot of, Chance Williams could get there. My thing, though, is like, this is not nearly the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, I look at, I just don't see any, like, I don't want to, there's nobody on this defensive roster who's ready to play at a Jalen Phillips or a Greg Rousseau level in 2021. Agreed. Like, DeAndre Johnson he's an average defensive end. Yeah. Nesta, we don't know because he can only be good for 2 games at a time.
I'm kind of low on Nesta.
Yeah, I mean, this is literally his last shot to do something. You know what? I think Bubba Bolden. I think with T-Rob, he's going to be a lot better. Yeah. I mean, it's a huge improvement to go from Coach Banda developing to a guy like T-Rob who has sent multiple guys in the first and second round.
Yeah,
that's huge.
It is huge. And, Bubba Bolden, I think, is in for a big year. And, the guy that I'm ready to shout his name from the rooftops all offseason, talking, projecting the future of this defense, is Gilbert Frierson.
Yes.
Yeah, I love how Gil was playing at the end of last year. I expect him to be a leader on the field in terms of his play. I don't know much about his personality, like whether he'll be a locker room leader, but I expect him to be like probably the best player on our defense next season.
I think him and Bubba are going to be head and shoulders above everyone else, honestly.
Yeah. I'm really hoping that Jared Harrison Hunt pops a little more because, he showed flashes of dominance last year, which was very nice. I am worried about our defensive line as a unit if he doesn't pop, though. I think we're solid across the board, but we've had star power there the last few seasons, and we've lost it.
Oh, absolutely. So, we have a guy like Jafari who we know can be good.
Yeah.
We're just we're just in that waiting period.
Agreed. And I'm not saying none of these guys can be stars. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is none of them have proven to be stars yet, and so it's a fool's mission to project that, right? I think you can dangle the carrot out there and say, Jared Harrison Hunt is a guy that could pop and become a star. Jafari Harvey could pop and become a star this year. But, it's a little far-fetched to already coronate them as such.
Yeah. Who would have thought that we'd spend so much time worrying about the defense as a Kane fan? Someone asked me this last night. What would you grade Miami's staff right now from top to bottom?
Pretty good. Breaking down the position, let's see. On defense, dude, you have to go high B, low A, Well, it depends on what's an A. A would probably have to be like a Nick Saban staff where you're pulling guys from NFL head coaching jobs to be your position coach.
Yeah, he's in a whole other kingdom.
Yeah, so I'd probably go a B plus.
Well, and I forgot to mention we hired an analyst, a defensive analyst, Bob Shoop.
Yes, which that brings up a lot of interesting areas to there's a lot of interesting angles to take on that one, right? He's a very experienced defensive coordinator.
Mm-hmm.
He's getting bankrolled this year from the University of Michigan. So, him taking an off-field role is probably more indicative of his pay situation with Michigan than his responsibility here at University of Miami.
I've been because I'm such a huge Saban fan, and I know what what an advantage having analysts are, and obviously we don't have the budget that Alabama does. We could bring on 10 to 12 former college head coaches, NFL coaches as analysts, but I just give me one, and we got a really really good one. I think he is going to be kind of, bro, he has 35, he's been a defensive coordinator at 3 different schools. Bro, his 2018 Mississippi State defense gave up 12 touchdowns all season.
That's crazy.
The guy knows defense, and more than anything, he has experience. He is going to be the guy that is necessary for Manny to, fix this ship a little bit. Because and for the past few years, nobody on the defensive staff had nowhere near that kind of experience besides Todd Stroud.
Yeah, it almost makes me wonder if he's going to be kind of a de facto defensive coordinator, right? Obviously he can't be on the field; he'll be in the booth. Who knows if he would be able to call plays from up there or not? But and Manny said that he's going to call plays. But you got to think that he's probably going to be the guy handling the day-to-day stuff in practice, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. That is just speculation on that part, but it's nice to have that ability, right?
It's just an added advantage. He'll bring more. It's just surrounding yourself with great football minds. I love this hire just because it's a Saban kind of thing.
Yeah, agreed. That's the thing though is with the way society is with social media, and you can know so much about people. There's no excuse for people to not follow the Saban blueprint earlier or better and
Mm-hmm.
more strictly. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
I had a conversation a few weeks ago with somebody who, has intimate knowledge of the recruiting process that Nick Saban does and other coaches, right? And I don't want to throw any coaches under the bus by name. However, I will say that like this person I was talking to would tell you straight up, like Nick Saban does it so much better than everyone because he puts in more time, he puts in more detail, he cares more, he's more personable. You know what I mean? Like he spends more time talking about minutia with parents than other head coaches do. And
Yeah.
it's like if I can learn that in my basement in Salt Lake City, then how do these other Power 5 head coaches not learn that as well and implement that? Like if it's to the point that Nick Saban is still outdoing you on the trail because he's spending more quality time with parents, then I don't even know what to say at that point. Like you just have to start assuming that people's brains don't work that well.
Bro, he will not offer a scholarship to a player unless he has actually seen him in person, like done all of his and it's not just watching him in person, but it's going through this checklist. Bro, you have to read this book about Saban. Like it is incredible. And people wonder why I talk about Nick Saban like nonstop. It's because I'm attracted to like that level of greatness, and it's something to strive for everyone. And there's so many Canes fans that say, well, this is Miami, we're different. And I'm like, well, maybe our way hasn't worked so well.
Yeah, we are different from Nick Saban in that, we're getting blown out by North Carolina and he's winning championships.
Yeah, bro. I was actually going to ask Mike, like, where does Nick Saban rank in terms of the greatest recruiters, 1 through 2? Where does he rank? He's
number 1 is Nick, and number 2 is Saban.
Yes.
Right?
He spends so much time like learning about like homes that when he goes into these recruits' homes, he can talk with the parents about like this architecture and the frames and the windows and the shades. He's just so he walks on water.
He's dreamy.
I want him to give me away whenever I get married.
Gonna walk you down the aisle.
Yeah. Hold on, babe. Nick Saban's walking me. We're gonna switch roles. Before we close, what do you think? Amari Carter's coming back. McLeod's coming back. John Ford's coming back. Yay!
Yeah, it's I don't know. I don't even know what to think about it, right? Like Amari Carter he's okay when he's on the field and not in the locker room because he's been targeting people. Zach McLeod, I actually don't mind. It would not surprise me if Zach McLeod starts a few games at defensive end for us. I actually liked what I saw. I know he had some problems with over pursuing in the bowl game. However, I liked his athleticism, and we interviewed him last week on the radio show, and he was saying that he was 30 pounds underweight in that bowl game. And
sheesh.
Yeah, and well, for defensive end, right? Because he got COVID, so he's struggling with his weight, and he only took reps like that week at defensive end. So I'm thinking, if he's blowing by guys, if he puts on some weight, he's working with Jess Simpson and Coach Feely. Like, I like the potential there. I actually think his skill set fits a little better for just getting upfield, right? I think he kind of struggled in situations where he had to diagnose plays. And so if he can just like get upfield as quickly as possible and play contain or try to get some sacks, my mind is open to that, right?
Bro, I just hope that this is finally the season. We have 1 year, we have one shot left. I just want to see Amari Carter play some linebacker.
Yeah.
Like, enough's enough. Like, come on.
We need him. We need him at linebacker. That's the thing, too, is like,
yeah,
it would be hard to argue that, move him to linebacker and we for sure have 3 dudes better than him. You can't really do that,
Yeah.
Like let's at least give it a shot and see what happens.
Yeah, what do you got to lose?